This episode of Let's Knit Together is sponsored by BargainYarns.com.
Hi there, I'm Kat. Let's knit together. Today, machine knitting. There are some times that a project requires a lot of stockinette stitch, which can sometimes be quite boring. Or perhaps it's the week before someone's birthday and you really wanted to make a sweater or afghan and there's just no time to get a big project done. That's when I take out and dust off my knitting machine. Machines are great stash busters since you can quickly go through most of the yarns you probably already have in your stash. Now, I've had this machine for over 20 years and they don't sell it anymore. However, there are a few machines available now that are inexpensive. Silver Reed has a similar machine called the lk2g-060, and there's a less expensive machine called the Bond Ultimate Sweater Machine. Both of these are mid-gauge machines with the needles placed about 6.5 millimeters apart, making them useful for yarns from sport weight through worsted. Before starting to knit, you need to set the tension and set up the yarn. For most machines, including electronic ones, you set the tension on the carriage. For my machine, there's a dial on the carriage which moves the mechanism for tighter or looser tension. For the sweater machine, you switch out key plates on the carriage. Adjusting the tension is the same as changing needle sizes when hand knitting. Machine knitting pulls from the yarn ball very quickly, similar to weaving, so many machine knitters use cone yarn. However, if you want to knit from your stash, I have a trick for keeping your yarn ball from flying across the room as you use your machine. Take a cardboard box slightly bigger than the ball of yarn and cut a hole in the bottom and thread your yarn through it. Place the yarn in the box and turn it upside down on the table or floor behind the machine. Then put a weight on the box. On my machine, there's a yarn guide which holds multiple yarns. You thread the yarn through the guide to control the yarn intake. The Bond knitter doesn't have a guide, but it's easy enough to set something up so that you can control the yarn. Now do the same with some waste yarn. Once you're all set up, you'll be ready to cast on. Select the number of needles to cast on and put them in the working position. Then move every other needle back to the original position. Using waste yarn, thread the yarn through the carriage holding the end. Move the carriage from left to right. This sets the yarn so it's captured in every other hook. At this time, set the weights, holding the yarn through the carriage so that the weights don't pull on it. After the weights are set, hook the end of the yarn around the weight. Move all required needles back into working position. Now move the carriage to the left and back and forth, being sure to clear the end of the working needles until you have about 10 rows of waste yarn. Leave the carriage on the left. Take the waste yarn out of the carriage and thread the working yarn. Then go back and forth and knit with the working yarn. The purl side will be facing you, and as you knit more rows, you'll want to move the weights up so that they're always about 4 inches from the needle bed. To increase a stitch on either side, simply put the next needles into working position. To decrease, move the outer loop onto the inner needle and take the needle out of working position. So now you can see how quickly you can knit a project. Keep in mind, of course, you still have to do most of the finishing by hand. Some knitters may think that this is cheating or that it isn't handmade. Don't let that stop you. Machine knitting is hard and rewarding work that can create beautiful results.
Remember, we're having a Let's Knit Together meetup at the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival on Saturday, October 17th at 3 p.m. at the picnic tables in front of Building A. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. And if you want to psych yourself up for Rhinebeck, we have a button on the sidebar at letsknittogether.com which will take you to all our past Rhinebeck episodes. Machine knitting uses up a lot of yarn really quickly, and if you're making a large project, it can get very expensive. BargainYarns.com, a sister site of Yarn Market, carries discontinued yarns as well as Lion Brand and other craft yarns. Plus, you can always count on speedy delivery in case you're in a rush to make that machine-knitted project. So check out bargainyarns.com, and remember, supporting our sponsors supports the show. Last year, I purchased a share in the Hudson Valley Fiber Farm CSA. We covered the sheep shearing event in episode 48 and 49. I just got my share, and I'm going to unbox it on camera for all of you to see. Ooh. Look at, like, it's all puffed down. Ooh. One of them is 100% Cormo, and this one is, I think, a blend of Cormo and mohair. There you go. So this is Cormo mohair, and this is 100% Cormo. This is going to spin up into a nice soft project. Thanks, Susan.
But it's easy enough to set something up so that you can control the yarn. That's not fair. I was doing so good.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
I was doing so good. For my machine, there's a dial on the carriage which moves the...
That thing was locked. That thing was locked.
That was a blooper for Eric.
I guess it was. This show has so many bloopers. What do you think?
That's what happened. See? The knot. It wasn't about me. It was about the frickin' yarn.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry. I didn't screw up your ears.
That's okay.
Ever since we got back from Alaska, I've had this cough. And it was getting worse than last week. And then on Sunday I woke up and it was really bad.
Sound really sexy, though.
That's not true. No, I'm not going to sound sexy. You gave it to me.
I didn't give it to you.
I think so.
Well, maybe I did. I had it the whole time we were on vacation, though.
Yeah.
Is that the Amy shot?
This is the martini shot.
This is the martini shot?
Yes.
Abby. It's the Abby shot. I kept thinking Amy. Amy Singer. That's why I got confused.
It's Abby Singer.
Amy Singer. She's the knitter.
What's that?
There you go.
That's what we made.
That's what happened.